All right, so for the parabola, you always want to make sure that you can tell something is a parabola when you only have one variable that's squared. Boop, right there. They can be in all sorts of different orders if you look at the ones that we're going to be doing a little bit later on. But it is a parabola if it only has one of your variables squared. Now the standard form of a parabola, and I'm just going to keep it this order here, is y minus the y-coordinate of the center of the vertex is 1 over 4p times x minus the x-coordinate of the vertex squared. That's a parabola in standard form that opens up and down, which is like this guy. So what I need to do is I need my x's on one side of the equation, and I need everything else on the other. So that's going to be my first step. I'm going to move this 22 to the other side. So I have y minus 22 is 2x squared plus 12x. So far, so good? Okay. Now I'm going to complete the square on this piece. So how do I complete the square on this piece? Take out the 2. Out goes the 2, and I will have x squared plus 6x. Boop, leave a spot. And again, you only have to do this for one variable. So let's complete the square. Square root half of this. 3, good. Want to make sure we're still awake. 3 squared, 9. What did I just put into my equation? 18, because there was that 2 out in front. So if I put an 18 here, what goes over here? 18. So that means I have y minus 4. And that is the equation in standard form for my parabola. So let's do some characteristics. What is my vertex? Negative 3, 4. And please make sure you get those in the right order. It's opposite of the x, opposite of the y. Now, in order to do the focus or the directrix, I need to find p. Don't make this out to be harder than it is. All you're going to do is you're going to say this number here, 2, is equal to 1 over 4p. How do I solve that? Multiply by 4p, not by 2. That way I will have 8p equals 1. So what is p? 1/8. And guys, this is one of those things where people tend to just make the silliest mistakes because they're just kind of looking at it. They see 2, they see 4, they know times, they think 2. Or they think, hey, the answer is going to be 8. Or they just make up random stuff because they don't want to take the steps to do the work. Don't do that. It's not like those were hard steps. It's pretty straightforward. So when we are talking about the focus and the directrix, these guys are going to be dealing with which coordinate is changing. The y, because that is the non-squared version. Now, to move from the vertex to the focus, what do I do? Add p. So in this case, my x is going to stay exactly the same. And I know you don't like doing this, but suck it up and deal. You are going to have to add 4 plus 1/8. I do not want 4 1/8. I do not want a decimal. 8 times 4 is plus 1. That's it. Can't forget the little math that you learned a long, long time ago. The baby math. For the directrix, what are we going to do? We're going to subtract p from the which coordinate? From the y. So I'm going to say 4 minus 1/8, and what is that going to give me? 31/8. How do I write the directrix? Y equals. Because it's just the variable that's changing. The directrix is the equation of that line. We already said the equation of our parabola. Okay? Go ahead and write down that number 8 for me, please. Okay, so with this guy, our goal is again to get all of our x's on one side, all of our y's on the other. And typically the way we do it is we put the non-squared variables on the left. Now, what I would recommend trying to keep your squared variable positive, if at all possible. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to be moving these two to the other side of the equation, but I'm actually going to put them first. So it'll be 8y plus 7 is x squared minus 6x. Is everybody okay with what I did there? Kind of combine a couple of steps at once. So I added 8y and I added 7, but then I just flipped it and put the 8y on this side. So now I'm going to complete the square. And I'm quite lucky here. I don't have a number in front of my x, so I can just get to getting. I will have square root. What's going to go here? Minus 3 squared. 9. So what's going to go over here? Plus 9. So I have 8y plus 16. Everybody awake, because this is an important thing that I'm going to point out here. Everybody awake. Everybody looking. Let's look at the top. In a parabola, the not squared variable cannot have a number in front of it other than 1. So I got a little bit of a problem here. I have an 8 in front of my y. How do I take care of that? Divide by 8. Oh, they have critical thinking skills. Yay! Now the way that you're going to write this is y plus 2 is equal to, beautiful, 1/8, because you want to make that a multiplier. So that's 1/8 x minus 3 squared. And I want you guys to see if you can find all your bits and pieces. Go for it. Rocket like it's hot. Compare with your neighbors when you think you got it. Jenny, that is a really weird look on your face. Yeah, you had this like, don't hurt yourself. Is that what that burning smell is? I gotcha. All right, we get it? I'm so excited today. I know I'm moving a little quickly, so maybe some of my excitement will rub off on you? No? Words. But I said bougie today, so I think I'm cool. All right, let's take a look at the answers. Hopefully I did it right. Jenny, what'd you get wrong? Why do I keep calling you Jenny? You're Jessica. Don't. So what did you do? Oh. Okay. Gotcha. So be careful. Simple as that. Just be careful. All right. I want you guys to try one start to finish. Kind of leave it so you can see the problem above. What makes this one different? It's y squared. First problem's been up there for a while. Sorry, yes. Yeah, thank you. Little mistakes. Okay, go for it. Numero 9. Nueve? Is that right? Okay. Here we go. Oh, it helps if I unfreeze the picture. If I can find my cursor. There it is.
Thank God. I finally did it.
She just, you know what? Shut up. You're a sophomore in pre-calculus.
Yeah.
Shut up. And you're doing fine.
No. Who do you think?
You are doing fine. I don't want to hear it anymore. Oh, now the truth comes out. Okay, so the big question that came from this is there's no number in front here. Does that mean P is, it's just 1 over 1. So when you have 1 over 4P and you cross multiply, you'll have 4P equals 1. So P is 1/4. Okay, so are we all right with that? Okay, there's one last aspect that we have to do for this, and that is where I give you the bits and pieces, and we're trying to work towards a conic section. Now, I do want to kind of take a pause right here and explain to you how your test is going to be set up, because I know a lot of people get kind of freaked out when I tell you that it's not, oh, first section is circles, then ellipses, then hyperbolas, then parabolas. What it's going to be done like is you will have one section. No, this is your review that you'll get next class. You'll have one section where you're going to be given equations that you'll need to graph and find the corresponding pieces for each graph. Huh? Well, you should. What's that going to be? Oh, I'm not telling you. Right. That's a circle. What's that? An ellipse. What's that? Hyperbola. What's that? Okay. So you need to be able to do that. Then you are going to have a section that looks like what we're going to be doing next. And this is what I wanted to point out to you. With these guys, you will be told what type of a function you're dealing with. Because there are 3 of our 4 have centers. 3 of our 4 have vertices. 3 of our 4 have foci. So if I give you those guys, you can't tell which conic section it is. So for those guys, you will be told which conic section. You're not told what conic section here because we're doing parabola. Okay? And then since we're on this, we'll just keep going. So then you will have a section that combines the idea of writing it in standard form, not told what shape it is, and matching. Yes, you will have a matching piece. Tell me which conic section it is. Then you will have a piece where it's just here are the graphs, You write the equations, but you don't need to list out the little pieces, and then you will have your review. Okay? So, you'll get that. You'll get that sheet. You'll get that next class. You're kind of gross. Okay. Because I don't want you to lose it. Sure. If we have time, yeah. Okay, let's focus. All right. So, get it? Focus. Focus. Woo, woo, woo. All right. So, when we're doing this, to me, I am a really visual person, and I have trouble sometimes kind of conceptualizing what's going on just by looking at points. So, out of all of them, with the parabola, I have a tendency to sketch the picture. I think that helps me a lot. And it doesn't need to be great and huge and glorious. It just needs to give you kind of ideas to what's going on. So, for example, my vertex here is at 0, 0. Where do I go for my focus? Up 6. Now, the reason why I wanted to draw that is that puts everything in perspective for me, and I can tell you right off the bat which direction this graph is opening. So which direction is it opening? Up. Because your vertex always kind of cradles your focus. Always. Okay? Whereas if I had the directrix is always behind you. I can also tell by looking at this, this can help me think here, what is P going to be? 6. If you think you can do all of that without a picture, that's great. We have our vertex. We have our focus. What variable changed? The y changed. What did I do to the y? I added 6. And to move from the vertex to the focus, you add P, so P is 6. And whichever one you're adding to is your not squared variable. So that means I will have y with stuff, x with stuff. So what am I going to put next to the y? 0. What about next to the x? And you are welcome to just say y equals and to say x squared. I like putting that there again because if I don't, I get worried that I've skipped a step. What about what goes in front here? Beautiful, 1/24. Is that number positive or negative? Why is it positive? Because it opens up, because P is a positive 6. And that's it. So this one takes a little bit more thought, but once you figure it out, like which direction it's going in and everything, it's a lot easier to write your answer. So I want to see if you guys can do number 11 on your own. Sketch it if you want. Don't sketch it. It's all up to you. Check your answers with your neighbors when you think you got it. Compare your answers. There's not nearly as many of you in here today, so you got to work harder to prove to me that you're not asleep, which we all know you are. You're lazy, sleepy heads. I'm going to sneeze. Hold it.
I don't know. What is the one thing to say?
Oh, and we were being recorded on that.
If you don't want to sneeze, you put your whole tongue over your mouth.
Sneezing is a good thing. Yes, that means that there's something in your sinus cavity that is irritating you, and your body wants to get rid of it. So, to hold a sneeze is not a good idea. Well, you're always awkward, so it shouldn't matter. Now, as long as you're not Raheem, it's not awkward at all. Have you heard Raheem sneeze? Does anybody know who Raheem is? Raheem Clemens? Because his sneezes freaking rock the world. Like, the whole room shakes. Okay, so let's take a look. This is what your answer should have been. Heck yeah, I like heck yeahs. I know, it's kind of special. Questions on that one? Please ask if you've got them. Stuff will not miraculously make sense in your head if you look at it long enough. Sometimes it does. Usually it doesn't. Okay? So there's one last one I want you guys to do. Jessica, we're out of here at 8:51. It is 8:15. This is the last question I'm going to ask you to do. Chillax, child. I have no idea. Okay, so everybody's okay with the fact that this opens down.
Yes.
This line up here is y equals 6. This point down here is 3, -4. Where will my vertex go? Not necessarily the point, but where is it? Between it. And it's actually going to be exactly in the middle.
Wait, why didn't you cradle the focus?
Oh, that's the focus.
Come on,
Shut up, leave me alone.
I was the same way, dude. Oh my god. I really don't.
Okay, so it's going to go like that.
Yes.
Cradle. Now, you told me it's going to be in the middle. So, directly in the middle. So, this line here, what is the x coordinate going to be? 3. Because it's the same as the focus. Okay? So, focus, directrix, vertex, the only thing that's changing on those is going to be the one that gets the P. Everything else is going to stay the same. So, the focus, again, was at 3, -4. How will I find the y coordinate? 6 minus 4 divided by 2. Because it's 6 plus a -4. Because this coordinate down here is -4. That's 6. So it's 6 plus a -4, which is going to be 2 over 2, which is 1. Are you just saying, so I stop looking at you?
I mean, I also said 1.
Oh, I just heard you say 6 plus 4. I didn't hear you say the end part.
I still did it right now.
Okay. Yes, ma'am. No. What's your question?
It was, so when I told you, okay, never mind. Because I know what I know.
But putting things into words, especially like with math, that is one of the hardest things to do. But if you can do it, it means you understand.
So I was explaining that earlier with the point, 10 for the matrix, I was saying it would be like 3, 6 almost.
So you were thinking about that point on the axis of symmetry. Yes. So what you're looking at here, the words that you would use to describe that point on the directrix, where it lines up with the axis of symmetry. Yes, that would be at 3, 6. Okay?
This whole time, I was doing like 6, and then I thought it was minus, so it's like 6 plus 4 divided by 2 is 5. And then I was like, okay, negative 4 plus 5. Does that also work? Or I just really.
You just ran, it's like even a blind person hits the target every once in a while. You got to remember, midpoint,
Oh my god.
the idea behind midpoint is the same thing as the idea behind average. So if you got an 85 on one quiz and a 95 on another, how would you average them? Add them and divide by 2. Right. So you're going to say 6 plus negative 4, which is 2, divided by 2, which is 1. Okay, so I'm not sure how you've been getting that. But let's make sure that we're on the right page. Okay? Careful when you're looking at the directions. So if you're saying if my directrix is y equals, then yeah, it'll be the, if it's, exactly. Okay? So looking at that problem there, that's the toughest part. And then what is P? Negative 5. Why is it negative 5? Goes down. I have no idea what you're doing.
For real, 6, and then it's like minus negative 4. It's really plus 4, so it's 10. Wait, no, minus.
Plus negative 4.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, it's okay. Please don't use that. It will, like, maybe 0.001% of the time it will work. That was the one time it will work. How did we find P? P is the difference between where your vertex is and your focus is. Or if you look at it this way, from my directrix to the focus, that takes a total of 10 steps. Half of that is P. Yeah, but she was... Okay, so maybe she is on the right page because I just don't understand Elise.
It's a lot.
Like that is a vocabulary language that I just don't get. So thank you for clarifying that for her. See, it took you like one sentence to get across what she was saying. Thank you. I appreciate your translation skills. Appreciate your translation. Okay. All right, so now we get to write the equation. Which variable is not squared? Y. Okay. Now, what is going to go next to the Y?
Just kidding. -1.
-1. Good job, Allie. And then what goes next to the X? -3. P was what? -5. -5. So what's going to go here? -1/20. Hey, that takes a lot. Your confidence is one thing. And really, guys, math is its own language. And when you have to kind of explain things, it's like you're translating between two different languages. You're translating between numbers and words. So, all right. So are you guys okay with that?
It's still translator of math.
Okay, so